The question says we need to figure out the range of f of x, which is equals to x cube plus x. Okay, how to figure out the range of any function? So there are different methods to figure out range of any function, right? In here, we can crystal clearly see that this is an odd polynomial. Yes, polynomial of degree 3. That means odd polynomial. Straight away, we can think of the range of this function. The range of this polynomial is nothing but all reals. Mind it, odd polynomial has range, all reals. So we have option A as the right answer. Let's write down nicely. We have this function with us and the given function is polynomial function of odd power of x, right? Cubic polynomial. And then range of the given function is what? All reals. Already discussed, option A is the right answer. Sorted? Let us have a look at this question. We have a relation which is defined from set A to N, where ordered pairs x, y will sit inside relation R if and only if x equal to y. Okay, then we need to figure out which among the following options are correct. Okay, cool. Option A says we need to check whether R inverse is a function or not with range A, set A. Option B says R is a function with range as n. Option C says R is a function with range as 1, 2, 3, 4. Option D says R is not a function. Whole question is revolving around R. First of all, we need to calculate whether R is a function or not. How do we do that? By drawing the mapping diagram. Yes, let's do that. Let's draw the mapping diagram. So we have set A, right? X belongs to this set. We have set of natural numbers. Y belongs to this set, right? And the rule is x equal to y, right? A has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. N has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all the way up to infinity, right? Now, if I say that x is equals to 0, then y is what? X equals to y, y is also 0. But in here, y cannot be 0 because y belongs to this set of natural numbers. In this set, there is no 0. That means this 0 is left out. 0 has no image in set N. Let's move ahead and talk about x equal to 1. If x is 1, then y is also 1. Both are equal, right? So this 1 will get mapped with 1. Similarly, 2 will get mapped with 2. 3 with 3, 4 with 4, but I don't have 5 in set A. We need to stop it over here. And in fact, let's write the all ordered pairs which will sit inside this relation are 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Okay. These are the 4 ordered pairs which will sit inside relation R, right? Now let's check whether it is a function or not. What is the definition of the function? Each element in set A will have a unique element in set B, or each element in first set will have unique element in second set, right? In here, I can see that 0 has no image in second set. Are you getting my point? 0 belongs to first set, which is A, set A, but it doesn't have any image in set of natural numbers. Hence, it is not a function. R is sorted. Option D is the right one. Let's talk about R inverse. How do we create R inverse? So right now, I have R with me, right? R inverse, creating R inverse would be much easier task. What we need to do is, we need to actually place all the ordered pairs inside R inverse, which are there in R, but with reversing the order. Yes, these two will get interchange. These two will also get interchange. These two will also get interchange. These two will also get interchange. Hence, but what I can see over here is interchanging will not affect the relation. R inverse will be exactly same as R, right? R inverse will look exactly same as R. The ordered pairs are similar. But wait, one thing happening over here is we are interchanging first and second set as well. Yes, we are interchanging first and second set as well. So mapping diagram will differ. Let's plot the mapping diagram over here. So we have y belongs to set of natural number. First set is set of natural number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, right? And then we have set A, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? X belongs to A. right? First set is what? First set is what? First set is set of natural numbers, right? And second set is set A. Right now, 1 will get mapped with 1. Relation is same, x equal to y. Then 2 will get mapped with 2. 3 will get mapped with 3. 4 will get mapped with 4. But 5 is not matching with anything. Hence, 5 is left out in first set. Right? I don't want any element to get left in first set. So 5 belongs to natural number but doesn't have any image in next set, which is set A. So we have R inverse, not a function. For this particular question, option D is the only correct answer. R is not a function. Okay. In this question, two functions f of x and g of x is given to us, and we need to figure out the domain of f of x by g of x. We all know how to calculate domain of a function which is comprising of division of two functions. Yes. So the domain would be domain of f intersection with domain of g. Since g of x is in denominator, denominator can't be 0 provided g of x is not equal to 0. Three things we need to keep in mind. First of all, we need to figure out domain of f, then domain of g, and then we need to figure out those values where g of x is equal to 0. We need to remove those values from the domain. Let's begin. Let's talk about fx. This is a rational function, right? And in rational function, what do? We figure out the denominator. Here, denominator is x. Can the denominator is 0? Yes, denominator can be 0 when x equals to 0. That means domain of f would be R, all reals except that value where denominator is 0. Those values where denominator is 0. In here, denominator is 0 when x equals to 0. Isn't it? So we need to remove x. X cannot be 0. We need to remove 0 from here. This is domain of f. Let's talk about domain of g in similar manner. Same. All reals, because this is a rational function, linear by linear form, right? All reals except those values where denominator is 0 and denominator is 0 when x equals to 3. That means x cannot be equal to 3. Right? We need to remove 3 from the domain of g. So this is r minus 0. This is r minus 3. Okay. One more thing we need to figure out when g of x is 0, because g of x cannot be equal to 0. We need to remove those values of x where g of x is 0 from the domain of f of x by g of x. Yes. So g of x cannot be 0. That means x plus 2 cannot be 0. Right? Any function is equal to 0 when the numerator is 0. Are you getting my point? This cannot be 0 because if I talk about f of x by g of x is in denominator. That's why we are doing this. So we have x equals to minus 2, x not equal to minus 2, right? So we need to remove in the final domain minus 2 as well. So if I take intersection of this and this, 1 and 2, what do I get? I get domain of g, okay. Domain of f by g would be what? R minus 0, 3 and minus 2 as well. So finally, the domain of f of x by g of x is nothing but option B, R minus 0, 3 and minus 2. Got it? In this question, we have a function f of x which is a quadratic polynomial. It is given that m of b be the minimum value of f of x. We need to figure out the range of the minimum value of f of x as b varies. Not a straightforward question, I would say, but if I break this question into two parts, then I'll be able to decode this question. Let's stick till here. The quadratic polynomial is given. We need to figure out the minimum value of quadratic polynomial. You all know minus d by 4a is the minimum value of a quadratic polynomial whose leading coefficient is positive. Okay, let's figure out what is the leading coefficient. Here 1 plus b square is the leading coefficient. If I talk about b square, any squared quantity is non-negative, that is greater than or equal to 0. If I add 1 on both the sides, what do I get? Leading coefficient which is greater than or equal to 1. That means this is always positive. Leading coefficient positive means minimum value of this quadratic polynomial, quadratic expression is minus d by 4a. right? Let's just put the value negative of minus 2b whole square minus 4ac, so 1 plus b square, and then we have 4a with us, just like this, right? If you open this, what would you get? Minimum value of this quadratic polynomial, which is given by m of b as per the question. So we have negative of 4b square minus 4 minus 4b square whole upon 4 1 plus b square. 4b square gone, 4 gone. Minimum value would be what? 1 by 1 plus b square, right? This is the minimum value. Now next half of the question says we need to figure out range of this particular minimum value, which is an expression. Minimum value is an expression in B, right? So we need to figure out range of this thing. Okay. Now we have already figured out that 1 plus b square is greater than or equal to 1. We can use this over here, right? So here 1 plus b square is greater than or equal to 1, right? But less than infinity. Or I would say 1 plus b square belongs to 1 to infinity. Right, reciprocal of this value will actually belong to, 0 to 1. 0 open, 1 close. Yes, reciprocal of this value is nothing but m of b. So range of minimum value of this quadratic expression is nothing but 0 open to 1 close, which is matching with option D. Got it? In this question, it is given that n be a set of natural numbers and R be a relation defined on n cross n. R is defined in such a way that these two ordered pairs are related to each other. Yes, ordered pairs are related to each other if it satisfies this equation. Right? Then we need to figure out whether this is an equivalence relation, reflexive, symmetric, transitive, or what? Combination of these three, right? Okay, so actually what is happening over here is this is n cross n, this is also n cross n. So both sets are having ordered pairs. Here one ordered pair is related to another ordered pair. In here a comma b and c comma d is related. If they are related, that means this equation is getting satisfied. That's all. Okay, let's talk about this equation. Let's simplify this equation. So this is what? AD B plus C. Okay, what I'll be doing is I'll be dividing the whole equation by A, B, C, D. If I do that, what do I get? B plus C by BC equals to A plus D by AD. Much simple. Okay, if I separate the terms, what do I get? 1 by B plus 1 by C equals to 1 by A plus 1 by D. That means if A comma B ordered pair is related to C comma D, it should satisfy this. Right? And of course, A comma B and C comma D both belongs to n cross n. Right? Because the relation is defined on this set. Okay, alright, let's talk about whether this relation is reflexive or not. Right? We have already figured out that in both the sets we have ordered pair. Right? So, we have A comma B related to C comma D. Right? Reflexive says that that element should be related to itself. Each and every element of set A should be related to itself. That means A comma B and A comma B should be related to each other. Right? A comma B or A comma B should be there. Right? If this is there, that means in here, if I replace C comma D with A comma B, this should hold true. So let's replace C by A and D by B, just like this. So what do we have? We have 1 by B plus 1 by A equals to 1 by A plus 1 by B. That means this equality holds true and this also holds true. This is a reflexive. Let's write it down. If A comma B is in relation with C comma D, this means this equation is getting satisfied. Hence, if I talk about A comma B related to A comma B, this equation will get satisfied, and which is satisfying, by the way. R is a reflexive relation. Sorted. Let's talk about symmetric relation. Let's talk about whether this relation is symmetric or not. So we have this. A comma B is related to C comma D. In symmetric, we need to check whether C comma D is related to A comma B or not. Yes, we need to check C comma D is in relation with A comma B or not. For that, we just need to replace A by C and B by D. Let's do that. So A, I'll be replacing it with C, and B, I'll be replacing it with D. Similarly, I need to replace C by A and D by B, right? So C is gone, A is there, and we have B with us. So now I have 1 by D plus 1 by A equals to 1 by B plus 1 by C. If you carefully observe, these two are one and same thing. Isn't it? These two are one and same thing. That means this is true. C comma D is in relation with A comma B. Hence, it is a symmetric relation. Alright, in similar manner, we'll talk about the transitive relation. Let's understand when we call any relation or this relation as a transitive one. So, we need to actually assume two things. Let A comma B and C comma D are related, and C comma D, yes, this ordered pair is in relation with another third ordered pair E comma F. A comma B with C comma D, right? C comma D with E comma F. If this is true, then we need to check whether A comma B and E comma F are related or not. If yes, then it is transitive, otherwise not. Okay, so let us assume these three ordered pairs, A comma B, C comma D, E comma F, are from n cross n, right? Okay, and of course, A comma B is related to C comma D, C comma D related to E comma F. If this is true, then this equation will hold true, right? We have acquired the modified form, which is 1 by B plus 1 by C equals to 1 by A plus 1 by D. Similarly, the second relation is also there. C comma D related to E comma F. Hence, 1 by D plus 1 by E equals to 1 by F plus 1 by C. Right? We have two equations with us. This is A comma B relation with C comma D. This is C comma D relation with E comma F. We need to check whether A comma B is related to E comma F or not. For that, what I'll be doing is I'll be adding these two equations. If I add these two equations, what do I get? I get 1 by B plus 1 by C plus 1 by D plus 1 by E. Likewise, the right hand side. And we have 1 by D gone, 1 by C gone. So I am actually left with 1 by B plus 1 by E equals to 1 by A plus 1 by F. That means A comma B is related with E comma F. That's what we were looking for. Hence, this is a transitive relation. If it is reflexive, symmetric and transitive, hence it is equivalence relation, which is exactly matching with option A. Got it?